Good evening, directors, staff, and members of the public. I will now call this April 12th, 2022 regular business meeting to order. We will begin tonight by acknowledging that buildings within Minneapolis Public Schools are located within the traditional homelands of the Dakota people. Minnesota comes from the Dakota name for this region, Minnesota Makoche, translating to the land where the waters reflect the skies, or cloudy waters. MPS recognizes the original peoples of this place and is committed to making ongoing efforts to educate the community about the relationship that Dakota people have to this area, both historically and today as they remain here in their home. Thank you. Before we move on to the business before us this meeting, I want to stop and recognize that the last meeting we had here did not work well for anyone, not for board members, not for staff, and especially not for those in attendance. We have a duty as elected board members to listen to and represent our constituents, and that includes acting on school district business in these meetings. As board members, I think we all recognize that not every issue before us will be supported by everyone. Some decisions will be easy and some very difficult. But regardless, we must be able to deliberate and act upon the matters before us on our agenda, including to hear from those who have signed up to provide public comment. So I want to reiterate the expectations we have for this and every meeting to help things go more smoothly tonight. First, there will be no signs that either block the view of someone else or include the name of individual students or staff. 2, there will be no disruptions, either by yelling or by using a device to amplify one's voice or make another noise. 3, we ask everyone to take a seat as space allows, and if needed, the meeting is being streamed in the cafe space. Make sure you're not blocking the view of our interpreters or of others. If these expectations cannot be followed, I will first ask those individuals to adhere to the rules. If it continues, we will take a recess until everyone is able to see and hear each other. Thank you. As a reminder for anyone speaking tonight, including during public comment at the podium, please speak directly, clearly, and loudly into the microphone. For the benefit of all of us, but especially for our interpreters, for those using closed captions, and for those who normally rely on seeing faces to help them understand, we need to project our voices to be heard through masks. And if you do briefly remove your mask to speak, please remember to put it back on properly after you have spoken. Thank you. Clerk Inns, can you please call the roll for the record?
Director Arneson?
Present.
Director Aline?
Here.
Director Ali? Director Cerrillo?
Present.
Director Inns is here. Director Jourdain? Director Caprini?
Present.
Director Ellison?
Here.
Student Representative Rance?
Present.
Student Representative Wesson?
Thank you. Please let the record reflect that Director Ali is stuck in traffic and will be here shortly, and that Director Jourdain is following COVID-19 protocols and will not be in attendance tonight. We have a quorum. Next, we will approve our agenda for the rest of the evening. Director Arneson, will you please move approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries and we have an approved agenda. Director Inns, can I please get a motion to approve the minutes before us?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The minutes as presented for the February 8th, 2022 meeting have been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. That motion carries and these minutes are approved. Next, we will hear from those who have signed up to provide comment with us here tonight. As staff projects the speaker list and our first speaker comes to the podium, I'll remind us of a few public comment protocols. Our goal here is to hear from those who have signed up in a fair way. To do this, we will be going to ask each commenter to begin by stating your name and relationship to Minneapolis Public Schools. Keep comments within the 2-minute limit. Do not mention identifiable information about individual staff or students, and do not use profanity, insults, or threats. If these guidelines cannot be followed, I will provide a warning, and then if needed, turn off the microphone and end your comment time. And finally, please remember that this is an opportunity for us to hear from the community, but we will not respond to comments in the moment. Sean Layden, please come to the podium and begin your comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Ellison, Superintendent, Raff, directors. My name is Sean Layden. I'm an associate educator with Minneapolis Public Schools. Currently living in the Whittier neighborhood and also serving as the president of our MFT ESP chapter. And tonight I wore my Yes for Kids shirt because I think it's important that we're coming out of a collective bargaining process that was very difficult, unprecedented, I would say. And the collective bargaining process is one in which employer and employees have to figure out what we're going to do together. And sometimes that's hard, like what we just went through. Sometimes it's not so hard, like when we worked together on the referendum campaign to seek greater funding for our schools that we know that we desperately need. I've been a part of a lot of those interactions between employer and employee. And I want to highlight a couple of things that I think are important coming out of this last process. We have done historic things as a district, and they were hard to get to. We have educator of color protection, specifically teacher of color protection language that will be a model for this nation. I was in Chicago this weekend talking to other AFT affiliate leaders, and they've asked us to come out to talk to them about how they can replicate what was done in our district. There's a lot to be proud of in the agreements that we forged. It's unfortunate, and many of us have strong feelings about what it took to get to this place. But that is a part of the process. And now it's time for us to come together to do more hard things. My members are very excited about our anti-bias, anti-racist labor management committee. That is to get at individual and systemic racism in the Minneapolis Public Schools. Bringing together staff members from the district office, representatives from our union, our ESP union, and our teacher chapter to get at these issues. It's critical that we do this together. You all have resources to bring to bear to this that we simply do not. We believe we have credibility and insights that are critical to this work that we believe you do not. Those are an example of something that we have to do together moving forward. We have a lot of challenges. We heard a lot about it in the last few weeks. And I just want us to say, I appreciate that this is very difficult. I appreciate that there are decisions made all around this that we find to be hard. But we're here now. We've come to this agreement, and I think we need to focus forward. We have to make these things work, and we have to do it for our students, because that is why we're all here. And both of us, I would say district as employer, union as employees, believe that. And so I just want to come here and say, we should be celebrating a lot of the historic wins. ESP pay next year is going to be leading the state of Minnesota. Now, it's not enough, and I think we have to do more, but we've made significant progress. And so I think we have to point to these things coming out of very difficult situations to say, we've made a lot of progress, and there's a lot to be proud of. And I, as a leader of my union, am extremely proud of the agreement that we made and the work that we've done together. So it's an important message, I think, that needs to be heard. These are very difficult times to come out of something like this, but this is what we do. It's a collective bargaining agreement. Collectively, we come together, we bargain, and we agree at the end about what we can all live with. And would just encourage folks to really take a look at what's in these agreements, because there's important things that we've won, that we've all won. Not one side, not the other, but that we've done together. So wanted to just bring that message of celebration of what we have to come and what we've done, because it's important and it's real. It's very real. The fundamental change that our members sought to bring and that you all got elected to do, I believe we've put together in these agreements. So appreciate the time and encourage folks to really dig into what's to come. And I know our members are looking forward to that.
Thank you. Robert Panning Miller.
Hi, I'm Robert Panningmiller. I'm a parent of a Washburn student. I'm a teacher at South High School, and I'm a member of the Teacher Union Executive Board. 2 weeks ago, someone on this board described the added 42 minutes per day and the 9 days a week, or 9 days added to June, as a consequence. I feel confident the term consequence was used as a euphemism for punishment. Not only are teachers and ESPs being punished for fighting for safe and stable schools, but our students and families are being punished. This didn't have to happen. 2 weeks ago, when you all voted to impose these changes, there were important questions that should have been asked and answered. Important financial questions couldn't even be answered or even asked because Chief Diop wasn't here. What would have been the supposed penalties if we didn't add this extra time? Superintendent Graff vaguely referenced a statute that says school board members could be guilty of a misdemeanor if you, quote, willfully fail or neglect to perform your duty, unquote. The duty referenced is creating a school calendar that provides a state minimum of instructional time. You had done that. MDE, the Department of Ed, stepped into this, which begs the question, why did they insert themselves in a labor dispute? Did you ask them to? Is that their job? MDE suggested the district could lose some money because they might adjust what's called ADM. But no one specified whether that would actually happen or what the cost would actually be. Many of you talk about being good financial stewards of the district's finances, is called into question when we are now looking at extra money. How much extra money will we spend with all the extra time for food service, bus drivers, engineers, clerical staff, et cetera? 2 years ago, you voted to go forward with the CDD, a plan that uprooted students, upset families. It drove families out. You are now inserting chaos into the lives of our staff, students, and families again. District leadership should follow the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. You can and you must undo this, and the union's ready to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria?
Hello, my name is Mariah Roberson Moody. Thank you for having me here tonight. I am an ESP special education assistant at Roosevelt High School. I work in the SB program. Go Teddy Nation. So I'm here tonight to, like Sean, talk about our wins and how we move forward. We got some pretty big things similar to him. I was at a conference and heard from all kinds of different people about the amazing things that we did for our ESPs. The pay that we were able to achieve, that we all came to an agreement on, is historical and will change people's lives. So I'm very proud of that. I think that we have some opportunities for how we can change moving forward and how we can work together to do things so we can improve a district so people want to work here and people want to go here. I think that we all know we have an enrollment problem, and that's not going to change if we keep doing the same things. I think we have an opportunity after this very historic moment to change and work together and make space for our student voices, make space for our families, make space for our educators to actually come to the table and be heard and actually improve our district so we can serve our kids better. I think that we've started doing some of that work. I know we have our ABARB committee, the Anti-Racist, Anti-Bias Committee, that we could start doing some of that work. We have opportunities that are going to present itself over the summer when it comes to working together to improve our enrollment and speak to families. And there's so many other things that we'll be able to do in the future. But I really think that that really starts with us deciding that we are going to do that work together and deciding that we are going to have shared decision-making and actually listen to the voices that are bringing themselves to the table. So I look forward to a brighter future here in Minneapolis Public Schools. And I hope that this board, as well as any future board and future leadership, makes the best decisions for our families and students. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Marvin Davidson.
Gary Marvin Davis and New Salem Educational Initiative, just a few blocks from the Davis Center, teaching students at the Minneapolis Public Schools academically abuses whatever calendar you use. So good to see my sisters Cirillo and Elamian on the board, a breath of fresh air. Ella Baker was a radical force in the civil rights and Black Power movements. She chafed at the moderation and the slow movement of Martin Luther King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and was one of the leading forces in inaugurating SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She went on to assist Fannie Lou Hamer in establishing the Mississippi Freedom Party when the Democratic Party had not a single Black member in the 1964 convention. She was a socialist, very much anti-capitalist. She was a great supporter of Angela Davis and worked hard to get her released when the government arrested her on trumped-up charges. She eventually made common cause with leftists, Howard Zinn and Noam Chomsky, and so in that spirit, she was much more like my sister Cirillo and myself than most of the spirit that invests this room. She was against the status quo, which is what you represent. She never would have brought in somebody from the intellectually corrupt Minnesota Department of Education to serve as either interim or certainly long-term superintendent, and she would have opposed the behind-the-scenes manipulations of directors Enns, Caprini, Ellison, and Arneson. NewSalemEducation.blogspot.com. A lot more comments to read there.
Thank you. Lars Lindquist.
Hi, I'm Ramaya Jackson. Mr. Lindquist gave us his spot. So I'm Ramaya Jackson from North High. And
I'm Aaliyah Muhammad for North High.
So we did send a letter out recently, like 10 days ago, and we did not get a response except from the student representative. So we're here to share our letter. We, the North High Student Council, representing the students of North High, are here to share our concerns about how the district's interpretation of the return to work contract will affect our schedule, students and families at North High School. We feel that the school communities did not get any say in this contract and how it will affect our schedule. We have talked to multiple students and we have compiled a list of complaints and concerns. Some of our concerns include students will have to choose between passing their classes and working summer jobs slash internships. Seniors who have already made plans after graduation will not come back after the graduation ceremony. North High is still experiencing trauma over the death of fellow student Deshaun Hill. Students have sports and family obligations after school. Some students also change custody and live somewhere else in the summer. We are worried grades will drop when students have other obligations. This time change has caused the cancellation of after-school programming. Many students benefit and enjoy this programming, and now it is taken away from them. There were 0 opportunities for students and families to provide their input. North High is impacted negatively because we already stay 30 minutes longer than the other schools. For example, North High and South High currently both start at 8:30, but South ends at 3, and North has stayed until 3:30 all year. If you add an additional 42 minutes, South would still get out at 3:42, and North would get out at 4:12. That is not fair or equitable.
We are aware that the return to work agreement has already been signed by the teachers union and the district, and that the school board approved the contract Tuesday, March 29th. We would like to ask for flexibility and adaptability so that we students are not punished for adult decisions. We have brainstormed what could help us. We have brainstormed what could help this contract from causing harm at North High. We request An equity exception from adding the 42 minutes at North High because we already stay 30 minutes longer than other schools. The last 2 weeks should be value added only. What we mean by this is that grades cannot go down during these 2 weeks, but students can work to bring their grades up. If seniors have passed all required classes for graduation before their ceremony, they should not have to be required to come back for the last 2 weeks. There should be flexibility for earning instructional hours in June, including earning credit for internships, projects, and summer jobs. The district should provide funds and resources for field trips and authentic learning experiences. School buildings and administration should be given decision-making power to decide how to make new schedule that fits the needs of their students. We feel like when the district has a one-size-fits-all approach that we always get the negative end.
Thank you. Thank you. Melanie Hanlon?
Thank you. I'm a taxpayer in Minneapolis and a parent of a senior this year. And I decided I would like to speak at this meeting after witnessing the last meeting, where I felt a strong sensation that, well, the teachers were at fault for the extended school year and that students were to learn a lesson and learn consequences. And I was so angered by that statement that I felt moved to come and speak tonight. Because as a taxpayer and as a parent, I don't blame the teachers for going on strike. I hold the school board and the administration accountable for not coming to an agreement before it led to a strike. I think that our teachers and our ESPs and our cafeteria workers are undervalued and that they don't have competitive wages with the surrounding school districts. How are we supposed to attract new teachers to our district if we cannot keep up with the pay? As a taxpayer, I'd like to see full transparency in where all the money goes for our school district. And it's not easy to find that out. But some of the things I learned during the strike were that we paid $1,300 per student in 6th through 12th grade for an online tutoring company called Paper. And as a parent, I've never heard of that. I didn't know that was available to my student. My student doesn't know about it. And my husband, who's a teacher in the district, has never heard of it. So I checked out some websites today, and I don't see it mentioned on the Southwest website that we have this resource called Paper Online Tutoring. I didn't see it on the website at Edison High School. I did find it on Washburn. So why do we have this resource if we don't even know about it and we've spent millions of dollars on it? When, in addition, there are plenty of online tutoring services that are free and available to our students. This is just one example of accountability that I see it's lacking. Another one is over the years, enrollment has declined in our school district, and yet we now have 3 additional area superintendents or assistant superintendents. Why do we need more administration? What we need is more teachers. And lastly, I want to know why our director of accountability is plotting a coup and is not held accountable for that. My understanding is he's still employed in the district. And just because an activity is not illegal, it doesn't mean it's ethical. And that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Dolce de la Rosa.
Buenas tardes, voy a necesitar interpretación, así que ténganme paciencia y necesito aquí su atención, por favor. ¿Alguien más puede ayudarme? Ok. A partir de aquí voy a empezar a leer. Mi nombre es Dulce de la Rosa y tengo 2 estudiantes en MPS.
My name is Dulce de la Rosa, and I have 2 students in MPS.
Sé que hemos estado hablando consecutivamente de esto, pero voy a insistir.
I know we have been repeatedly talking about this, but I'm going to insist.
La noticia sobre un acuerdo de regreso a clases entre el Distrito de las Escuelas Públicas de Minneapolis y el Sindicato de Maestros de Minneapolis se dio a conocer el 25 de marzo. Nosotros, los padres y nuestros hijos, estábamos emocionados que iban a regresar a clases nuevamente. Poco después, supimos que el acuerdo incluía extender el horario escolar y además de agregar 2 semanas adicionales al calendario escolar actual.
As the news about a return to work agreement between the Minneapolis Public Schools District and the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers 59 broke on March 25th, the parents and our children were excited that schools were going to be open again. Soon after, we learned that the agreement included extending the school time and adding 2 extra weeks to the current school calendar.
A medida que nuestros hijos han regresado a la escuela, nos hemos encontrado una vez más en una situación en la que las familias trabajadoras son las que están sufriendo las consecuencias de las decisiones tomadas por el superintendente y que han sido aprobadas por la mesa directiva escolar de Minneapolis.
As our children are returning back to school, we found ourselves once again in a situation where working families are the ones bearing the consequences of decisions made by the superintendent and approved by the Minneapolis Public School Board. Here are some examples.
La carga familiar. Los padres que trabajan tendrán que encontrar un servicio de guardería que pueda adaptarse a su nuevo horario. Los padres que trabajan tendrán que organizar su empleo alrededor del nuevo horario escolar. Los padres que trabajan que tienen un tercer turno no pueden ver a sus hijos antes de irse a trabajar o necesitan reorganizar sus horarios de trabajo porque los hermanos mayores que asisten a la escuela secundaria llegarán más tarde de la escuela.
Working parents would need to find a daycare provider that could accommodate their new schedule. Working parents arrange their employments around school time. Parents working a 3rd shift cannot see their kids before they go to work, or they need to rearrange their jobs because older siblings attending high school are coming late from school.
Las actividades extracurriculares. Los estudiantes tendrán que hacer malabares para poder tomar actividades extracurriculares o deportes, y ellos van a enfrentar complicaciones adicionales. Otras actividades de enriquecimiento como banda, deportes, arte, etc., se vuelven un reto para ellos. Este es un momento en el que los estudiantes tradicionalmente podrían explorar con mayor profundidad experiencias que no reciben durante el tiempo escolar. Los estudiantes mayores que dependen del empleo de verano también se ven afectados. Los padres tienen que decidir entre recoger a sus hijos de la escuela o cancelar las actividades extraescolares. Tengamos en cuenta que recoger a los estudiantes de la escuela es un privilegio y no una opción para muchas familias trabajadoras.
For extracurricular activities, students juggling extracurricular activities such as sports would face additional complications. Pursuing enrichment activities such as band, sports, art, etc., becomes more difficult. This is a time when students are traditionally able to explore in greater depth experiences they do not receive in school. Older students who depend on summer employment are also affected. Parents have to decide between picking up their children from school or canceling extracurricular activities. Let's keep in mind that picking up students from school is a privilege and not an option for many working families.
El argumento de extender el día y el año escolar se debilita a medida que la nueva evidencia demuestra que las escuelas primarias y secundarias no necesitan el tiempo extra y que solo un pequeño grupo de escuelas preparatorias son las que necesitan reponer el tiempo perdido.
The argument of extending the day and the school year weakens as new emerging evidence demonstrates that elementary and middle schools don't need the extra time, and only a handful of high schools need to make up for lost time.
Los miembros de la mesa directiva escolar, padres de familia, padres líderes del Consejo Asesor de Padres Latinos, les exige hacer lo siguiente.
Board members, the undersigned parents and parent leaders of Latino Parent Advisory Council urge you to do the following.
Reevaluar los minutos adicionales, al igual que las 2 semanas adicionales para las escuelas primarias y secundarias.
Reassess your extended time and the additional 2 weeks policy for elementary and middle school.
Permitir que las escuelas preparatorias elaboren su propio plan para cumplir con las horas de instrucción requeridas.
Allow high schools to figure out their own plan to fulfill required hours of instruction.
Ser inclusivo, consultando a los padres y estructurar internas como el PAC y DPAC antes de tomar decisiones clave.
Be inclusive by consulting parents on internal structures such as LPAC and DPAC before key decisions are made.
Comunicar información esencial a las familias en su lengua materna.
To communicate essential information in multiple ways to families in their families' native languages.
La educación de nuestros estudiantes, el bienestar de nuestras familias y comunidad es un asunto urgente. Exigimos comparta con nosotros su respuesta lo antes posible, porque esta no es la primera vez que traemos esta atención sobre este problema.
The education of our students and the well-being of our families and community is an urgent matter. Please acknowledge the arrival of our letter and share with us your response as soon as possible. This is not the first time we have brought this issue to your attention.
Y les recuerdo que les dejé una carta en la reunión pasada y no me han respondido. Necesito esa respuesta.
So I remind you, I left a letter with you last meeting and I have not gotten a response. I need a response to that.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Soraya Valladon. Soraya.
Buenas noches. I don't need an interpreter, don't worry. My name is Soraya Valedon Lopez. I'm a bilingual kindergarten teacher for Emerson School. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to say our thoughts. And I hope that, well, you're listening. I can understand, and I'm here to talk about, of course, the 42 minutes of extension and the 10 days. First of all, I can't understand why you treat all grade levels the same way, high 5 to 12th grade. As teachers, we focus on the importance of differentiation all the time. But you have chosen not to differentiate for anyone, students, families, and teachers, especially primary grades. It is extremely disappointing and disrespectful that our Board of Education Superintendent, claims outspokenly that wants to the best for our students and its equity system, And it's not treating us with equity, but with equality. No. Now, there's two factors here, two effects, students, parents, teachers, and our dismissal. I'm gonna talk more about our students. Our school primary grade children wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to come to school at 7:30, ready to learn. My 5-year-olds and 6-year-old kids. By 1 p.m., most of my students are really tired, overwhelmed, and I still have 40 minutes to teach. With time extensions, they're even more tired, and I have proof of that, of yesterday and today. For after-school students, this means a longer day. They are anticipated to get home around 7 o'clock. Then they will eat dinner, have some homework to do. This means that primary grade level students will be at school from 7:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. in the afternoon with only one good lunch, some snack in afternoon, and the next day, tired. Who we have to deal with then? Us. How are we gonna teach? Parents, teachers, you know this. We have other jobs, we have kids, we go to school, universities, so we have to leave. Health conditions, we have to leave our schools in the time that we have been done so far. Parents as well, you have heard the parents talking about how they already figured out how their summer school were going. So I'm gonna talk about dismissal now. Our school ends at 2 p.m., that's 6.5 hours. Based on house and busing, the actual longer day, it's not 42 minutes. Kindergarten left at 47 minutes. The buses leave at 2:57. So dismissal often takes longer, and teachers are not able to get ready for the next day. Now, this is what Minnesota Department of Education actually says, and not the misinformation you share with families. Not every grade level needs the extra minutes or day, neither is healthy for anybody. MDE, and I want to show you this. MDE requires that, Minneapolis Public Schools are saying that 171 days are required with 1,026 hours. Minnesota Department of Education says 165 days with 1,020 hours. That's grade 7 to 12, but grade K to 6, it's 935 hours, meaning the strike was 15 days, which are 90 hours. Basic math, we are teachers. 1,026 minus 90, that is 936 hours. Actually, primary grades, we are 1 day ahead. Now, so this is the last thing that I want to say, because I want to know if you have come and teach in our classrooms, if you have come to a kindergarten classroom, if you have visited our school after this pandemic and look how our behavior of our kids, their social emotional behavior, how is right now, how this constant change is going in our classroom. We're not teaching the same as we used to teach before. We're dealing with a lot of other issues, and with our families' issues as well, with lack of support. So please consider this point, and I have made, and how this decision will affect students, teachers, and family. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Brittany Granger. Thank you.
My fellow parent, Brittany Granger is a fellow parent at Sheridan, and so my name is Sonia Perez Lauterbach. I'm later in the list, and so I just share our time together. She unfortunately is not feeling well, so she's not here tonight. I'll share on her behalf. Can you speak into the mic? Yes. My name is Sonia Perez Lauterbach, and I'm a parent at Sheridan. Today, I want to provide some background on the exciting vote that will be happening to change the name from Sheridan to Las Estrellas. This name change is not about erasing histories or being politically correct. As a collective community at our school, site council, PTO, the neighborhood association, alumni, teachers, administration, and students have spent several months since back in 2020 reflecting on the name and the violence, ignorance, and apathy surrounding the use of a general's name who actively perpetrated atrocities against Native communities. We as a school community are committed to doing better when we know better. We are committed to centering the voices and experiences of systematically excluded communities. We spent time, lots of time, gathering names from our students and the wider community. We learned about figures such as Sylvia Mendez, whose family fought to integrate schools in California prior to Brown versus the Board of Education, poet Sonia Sanchez, and human rights activist Dolores Huerte, among many others. It was a wonderful learning process. As a name change committee, we are inspired by these individuals who persevered in the face of obstacles, and we committed to a collective process rather than pushing forward our own ideas in the name of being efficient. The name Las Estrellas, which means the stars, speaks to our students. They chose it. They already see themselves as our stars. It speaks to the infinite possibilities that we see in them. And it also honors many of our ancestors who have been harmed by the ignorance of white supremacy thinking and the violence against indigenous people of this land. We look forward to continuing to live into our new identity as Las Estrellas. As a school, we are committed to equity, bilingualism, identity, students' voices, and high cognitive engagement. This name change is symbolic of the continued work that is before us, the work of questioning norms that segregate, devalue diversity, and create barriers to opportunities for our students. I want to preemptively thank the board for an affirmative vote in the work of our collective community in creating the change we wanted to see. And to the administrators, teachers, and families dedicating hours fighting for the injustices that we inherited, I hope this brings you hope and encouragement to keep working together to do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Jose Fresco?
Good evening. I'm Jose Fresco, and I just want to say that as a taxpayer, a parent, and an educator for more than 20 years, I was extremely disappointed how the last board meeting was carried on. First of all, it was almost like watching a circus. 4 students took control of the meeting, and besides objections from some of the board members, the motion to add 42 minutes, and 2 weeks more into the year passed. How is that possible? Is that what we call democracy nowadays? Yeah. If there were objections from some members, it should have been another vote, show of hands, a paper ballot, something. But when you look at that video, how can that have passed? Some members didn't even know if they have voted. And some members didn't even know for what they have voted. But still it passed. How is that possible? Second, last meeting, some members mentioned the law, and that the students should learn that there are consequences. Consequences for exercising a right to strike? The last time I checked, going on a strike is legal. So why to punish us? And more importantly, punish them, the students. When you punish us, you are punishing them. And the students and family who you are punishing the most are the low income families who also need the summer jobs. They need a summer job to supplement family incomes, to take care of their siblings, and maybe save for college. Without this income, some will not afford to go to college. And that is not equity. Some of us have the luxury to send our kids to college. Some do not, and they can't. So do the right thing, please. Remove those 2 weeks into the summer. Do it for these families. They have suffered enough for the last 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Cuff.
Hello. Hello. I'm Mary Cuff. I'm a licensed school nurse for the district. I work a 1.0. I am the only float licensed school nurse in this district. And I came with a colleague here, and we would like to discuss and talk about this extra 42 minutes and how we feel it is not safe, it is not okay, and we need to figure out another plan.
Hi, I'm Carol Engelhardt. I was in retirement, and I came out of retirement to serve the schools, and I love it. I love being a school nurse. And what I want to talk about, though, is how unsafe this last 42 minutes is, and I have 46 years of experience as a nurse bringing to this table. And I think everyone in this room cares about students, or we wouldn't be here. All of you, all of you. And I am so proud of our students. I was cheering when they started being activists and sitting in and taking control over their own education. So I want to say thank you to the students. But as a grandmother and a mother as a nurse, this is my concern. The last 42 minutes of the day, licensed school nurses cannot be several places at once. The HSAs and the LPNs are not under the same contract. We have children with diabetes, with seizures, with chronic conditions, with problems that have to be monitored, and then the rest of the staff is ready to get those kids on the bus, and who's watching over them? It's going to make us lose sleep at night, and it's not safe. We need to come to a way of looking at how we're going to do. The other thing is it's just too much for our younger students. I don't have to go into detail because other people have said this over and over again, but as nurses, we can tell you that we are being called to the kindergarten classrooms because kids are having serious accidents because they're just too tired in the last 2 days. I had one child I sent home with a head injury, another child I sent home with almost a broken leg, and these teachers are really good, but the children are exhausted. So that we need to look at the toll on them. And then I want to say we need to look at equity. People are talking about this, but who gets to pick up their kids if they want to? It's the parents that have time to do it from a job or work from home. It's the parents that have a car to get there. And then, like the next woman that got up and spoke, the working parents are caught. The parents who only have a bus way to get their children home are caught. And then the secretaries and others, they aren't supposed to stay an extra hour either. So who in that school is left to make sure the children get home from the bus? It's not just getting on the bus, but it's getting home. So I, as a nurse who came out of retirement to be a Minneapolis school nurse and serve our students and love it, am asking you for the safety of our students. Please consider another option than keeping this 42 extra minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna Ashcroft. Anna Ashcroft. Sylvia Jimenez.
I'm going to speak in Spanish. I need an interpreter.
más fácil. Voy para por ti. No, yo prefiero hablar y que tú traduzcas. Okay. Me saco la... Okay.
Soy Silvia Ibáñez y estoy aquí como madre de 2 estudiantes de Minneapolis Public School. Me opongo rotundamente a los 42 minutos extendidos y las 2 semanas extras del verano.
I am Sylvia. I am a mother of 2 students in Minneapolis Public School, and I'm here as a mother. I oppose drastically to the 42 minutes extra and the 2 other weeks extra in this summer.
Primero, me parece una falta de respeto que otra vez MPS tome decisiones que afectan tan dramáticamente a las familias y ni siquiera nos consultan. Ustedes se sienten con el derecho a manejar mi horario y eso no me parece justo.
First of all, I consider that it's quite disrespectful that once again, MPS district takes decisions that are affecting dramatically my life and the life of all the families, and you don't even ask us or ask for our question. You feel that you have the right and you are entitled to manage and maneuver my schedule, and that is not right.
Estoy aquí por las familias que tienen 2 trabajos o 3 trabajos y se han ajustado un horario para ver a sus hijos siquiera un par de horas y ahora no los pueden ver por ir a su segundo trabajo.
I am here to speak in behalf of the families that have 2 jobs and they have to manage their schedule, their worker schedule, in order to see their kids at least a couple hours before they have to go to their second job. And sometimes with this change, they cannot even do that.
Estoy aquí por los estudiantes que tienen actividades de enriquecimiento o deportes que se ven afectados y por las familias que han pagado por estas actividades.
I am here in behalf of the students that have sport activities or other after-school activities that are enrichment for them or sports, and now they are affected, and for the families that have already paid money for those activities.
Estoy aquí por los estudiantes con autismo o desórdenes de ansiedad, que este cambio de rutina les ha afectado tremendamente, y por las madres que han tenido que consolarlos.
I am here on behalf of all the students that have autism or anxiety disorders, and these changes had affected them tremendously, and for all the mothers that have to console and support their children with these changes and this stress that you guys have caused them.
Estoy aquí por los estudiantes de high school que tienen que decidir si perder su última hora de clases o ir a su trabajo después de la escuela o cuidar a sus hermanos.
I am here on behalf of the high school students that now they have to decide if they're going to miss the last hour of school in order to go to work after school or take care of their siblings.
Estoy aquí por las familias inmigrantes que juntan su dinero todo el año para mandar a sus niños a sus países de origen y ahora ustedes arruinan su plan.
I am here on behalf of all the immigrant families that are saving money for an entire year in order to send their children to their countries of origin, and now they cannot do it because of you.
Estoy aquí por los estudiantes que tienen trabajos de verano y ahora tienen que elegir si terminar el año escolar o tomar su trabajo.
I'm here on behalf of the students that have to work during the summer, and now they have to decide so either they finish the school year or they take a job.
Una persona de este board dijo que había que pagar por los actos. Me pregunto, ¿quiere castigar a los estudiantes y familias? Me pregunto, ¿quiere castigar a las maestras de mis hijos por luchar por escuelas mejores y mejores condiciones de trabajo?
So, a person here in this board said we have to hold accountable and pay for the consequences of our actions. So my question is, are you punishing the students and the families? My question is, are you punishing the teachers that are working and teaching my daughters they are fighting for better schools and better conditions for work and better schools? Shame on you.
Shame on you. Debiera sentir vergüenza que los maestros tengan que ir a huelga para conseguir un aumento de 2% y para proteger a los maestros de color. Shame on you.
You should be embarrassed that the teachers have to fight and go to a strike to get in 2% more and protection for the teachers of color.
Ustedes son los responsables de las 3 semanas de huelga. MPS no mostró ningún sentido de urgencia en negociar con los educadores. Shame on you.
You are responsible of the 3 weeks of the strike. MPS did not show any considerations or urgency to negotiate with the teachers.
Si quieren consecuencias, ustedes deberían tomar 42 minutos para ir a las escuelas y hacer intervenciones de matemáticas o lectura con los estudiantes más necesitados. Ustedes podrían tomar 2 semanas del verano para aprender el trabajo de los educadores y entender mejor cómo funcionan las escuelas.
If you're talking about consequences, why don't you take the 42 minutes to go to the schools and do the interventions for mathematics or reading with the students that need it the most? You should take those 2 weeks from the summer to learn how to do the job that the teachers and to understand how the schools work.
Como madre, exijo que vuelvan el calendario original. Si no quieren otra migración de familias, como ya lo vieron por su decisión con el CDD. Basta ya de las faltas de respeto.
As a mother, I am demanding that the calendar of the school year goes back to the original, unless you don't want to have another immigration or exodus of students, as you have seen it already with your decisions with the CDC. I think CDD, enough of the disrespect.
Los niños de escuelas elementales ya tienen todos los minutos requeridos por MDE. Y les puedo dejar aquí los $10 para la multa de high school.
All the children from elementary school, they have all the minutes required by the MDE. And I can give you here the $10 to pay for the fee of high school.
¿Han visto a un niño de primaria al final del día? Casi durmiendo y con hambre. En la escuela de Emerson, el primer desayuno es a las 10 de la mañana. Ahora estarán de vuelta en su casa a las 4. Eso significa un niño 6 horas sin comer. Shame on you.
Have you seen an elementary school student, a child, that in the end of the day, almost asleep and very hungry? At Emerson School, the kids have the first lunch at 10 in the morning. After that, they will go back to home at 4 o'clock. Have you thought of those kids that will be 6 hours without food?
Ahora les quiero hablar como maestra. No me van a quitar mi dignidad. No me vas a quitar mi dignidad por tratar de castigarme. Shame on you. Y la próxima vez me voy a levantar más fuerte.
And this one is, as a teacher, you will not take my dignity away. Punishing me for this. The next time, I will rise stronger. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Dolce Aurelie Clara de la Rosa. Thank you. Dolce Aurelie Clara de la Rosa.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dulce Arely Clara de la Rosa. I'm from Justice Page Middle School in 8th grade. I came here to say that these 42 minutes that are added to class is not good, and these 10 days are not good as well, because the 42 minutes is our class ends around 4, and the traffic starts around 4 as well. and it is like really hard for parents to go pick up their children, and children have gotten tired. Have you seen the children going to sleep during classes? They fall asleep while they're in class because they're really tired. And there's a lot of change going on right now, and the children are getting really stressed. All this change that started with COVID, online classes, and switching from class in real life to online classes. And sorry, I'm really nervous.
Ellos trabajan para ti, no tengas nervios. Solo di lo que sientes y lo que piensas.
Okay,
¿O lo quieres hacer en español?
For the 42 minutes, kids have after school classes, like activities after school, and these 42 minutes changes it for them, and it's making it really hard. And it gives them less time from school, like after school, to relax, and less time to spend with family and loved ones. And parents have things to do after school, like jobs, and these 42 minutes added is making it like hard, and they have to change their schedule because of it. And the 10 days, the kids already and teachers already have trips planned, and some of them already paid, so these 10 days are like bad for them, and some kids don't want to miss school, and they're gonna have to miss school for these 10 days because they already have trips planned and paid. There's kids with summer jobs, and teachers also may have summer jobs, and it'll be really hard for them to go to school, and then after that, really fast, just like when school ends, they have to go straight to work and not just a little bit of time without work and go to work with these 42 minutes, and for summer as well. And kids are getting stressed, and they have anxiety because of this. And some kids like me are going into high school, which makes it really hard because we need time to relax for like going into a next grade. They have summer activities as well. And I'm just saying that the strike wasn't even a bad idea because the teachers need their money, and the money that they need is probably just pocket money for you guys, and they need this. They need the money. They don't even have to go on strike. If they want something, they have to come here and tell you they need something, and you guys have to give it to them. But yeah, that's all, I think.
Thank you. Amaya Ibanez Brown? Okay. Okay, thank you. Josefa Carriger? I hope I got that right.
Josefa has given us her time. So my name is Tiffany Doherty. I am a teacher at Anahuatin Middle School. And like some of the people that came before, I'm really here to say, shame on each and every one that left educators on the street for 3 weeks. The things that we were asking for, we shouldn't be asking for. They should be a given. And the fact that there was a smear campaign on part of the district against its educators is absolutely disgusting. The school board pushed through, and this leadership pushed through the CDD without broad support from educators or community. And I sat here week after week, month after month, going to fake meetings, pretending like you guys actually cared about our voice. So then you want to talk about financial responsibility when that was a complete waste of time and money, and it gutted my school. The CD did. District leadership consistently makes decisions that impact educators and families without the input of those educators and families. And we're at a point where we're about to change a lot of the seats here. And what I want to say to the board is that something that we did gain during the strike was true solidarity and unity. And what you should expect is to see a lot more of us here, making sure you know that you work for the people, not the superintendent.
My name is Leah Laurent, and I am also a teacher at Anwan Middle School. I'm a K-12 Minneapolis Public Schools alum. My daughter goes to Minneapolis Public Schools. Sylvia Ibanez is her art teacher. Thank you. I'm here with a list of questions for you. How do you sleep at night, knowing that you allowed a strike to continue for 3 weeks, possibly due in part to a senior officer of the administration dragging his feet in effort to take the superintendent's job? How do you say that you serve students, families, and communities when you consistently leave them out of decisions around their education? We use business terminology to speak about education because there is an effort to privatize public education in this country. We call them stakeholders, but they are our communities, and we are here to serve them. Their voice should be as loud as yours. A family member, or one of my students' family members, asked me, what is teachers' recourse in voicing their opinions to the district? And I said, we have to do what you do. We go to the board meetings, and we have to sign up. There's no other way for our voice to be heard. Okay. Oh, right now?
No, about that. Sorry.
How is it possible that last month 4 students can cause the superintendent of Minneapolis Public Schools to quit doing his job and walk out on the students that we serve? We serve every day.
Every day. The fact that you walked out on students because of a word was absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. Come to our schools. Come tomorrow. I welcome you into my math class. Come in. I'm serious though. Because you tell us to build relationships. That's what you should have done with those kids last week.
So for students, we were on strike for 3 weeks to get class size caps that are in the contract for secondary at 44 students, a classroom. Anybody who's spent any time in Minneapolis Public Schools knows that a curse word or two is thrown around. Guess what?
It's cultural.
And there are more important things to discuss. And if you are willing to stop a conversation because you don't like the way you're being talked to, then you are not an educator.
Ayala Alate? Ayala, I might be pronouncing this wrong, sorry. Ayala, E-Y-A-L-A?
Hello, my name is Ayala Alate.
Let's go, Ayala.
I'm an organizer with CSL and a former Minneapolis Public School student, and I left the district because of lack of mental health support, and I'm here to speak on behalf of mentally ill kids and disabled kids who are being disproportionately affected by these added minutes and added days. Number one, people need care outside of school. There's therapy, there's other types of appointments that people take regularly and go to regularly that are now being affected by these added minutes and added days. Neurodivergent kids who need structure are being set up to fail their classes because they're not going to be able to work and do schoolwork under those types of conditions. Do schools even have the resources to help these mentally ill kids that y'all are stressing out? Especially Black kids, because we know that y'all are just gonna put them in detention and ISS and not even give them another second thought. We striked for better mental health supports, so let's see those better mental health supports by not having these added minutes and added days that are stressing everyone out, not just the mentally ill kids and disabled kids. You guys are not owed the time that disabled people and people with different needs, you are not owed the time that we need to recover after school and to recharge. You are not owed that time from anyone. And it is not okay for y'all to take that away. How are we supposed to be able to perform in schools when these are the conditions that y'all have us learning under? So I ask that y'all rethink the consequences that are being fall back on to working families, disabled kids, and people who should be learning from school and not being punished by their schools.
Thank you. Thank you. Madeline Heath?
Oh, sorry, one more thing.
Excuse me.
We're with
I need the next person who signed up. It's her turn to speak.
My daughter was supposed to talk and I can't hear you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that we aren't done yet here, but it's obvious that every single person who's come up to speak, almost every single person has talked about how unfair these extra 42 minutes are, how unfair these extra days are at the end of the school year. My concern with you guys, while people come up here and do that, is they are spilling their hearts to you. They are telling you some of the most intimate things about their lives, and they're telling you this because they are just hoping that that you are actually going to make changes with what they tell you, that you're actually going to show your empathy or through the decisions that you make. However, I know that historically in the past, you guys don't actually listen. You can listen, but you don't hear. And as we can see, you know, last board meeting, I was there. It was, as described earlier, maybe a circus, but it wasn't, as a lot of people would describe, civil. But here we are, right? Now we're talking to you civilly, which is what a lot of y'all asked for, like tried to bargain with us for. And so we're here talking with you civilly now, not just me, but everyone here, separate individual people telling you their experiences and their needs. And my expectation from us following through with what y'all asked for is that you actually do something. So I just want to be clear, you do not get to sit with these experiences that you've heard. You do not get to sit with everything that you are learning today and just wait it out. You don't get to sit there and wait until the school year's over and this has blown over, because you don't have to live the lives of every single person here. You don't have to live those lives of the mentally ill student in constant burnout and meltdown. You don't have to live the life of a student whose money supports their little sibling. You don't have to live the life of a student and their parents. We don't have to live the life of a parent who never gets to see their kid because their kid has to stay in a classroom for an extra 42 minutes. Social lives, mental health, everything is getting destroyed by this, and you've heard it. You've heard plenty of evidence. So there is no reason that after this meeting today, you guys do not write up something real quick, everyone signs it, and this gets fixed. And if that doesn't happen, we'll be back. There's not going to be rest for the wicked. There's not going to be rest for people who are out here not making justice after we have done everything in our power to show you what we need.
Thank you.
Exactly. And I know that you've got plenty of stuff. Right. You got plenty of stuff for the rest of this meeting, but I don't think anybody here cares about a lot of the stuff that's happening for the rest of this meeting. I think people here want to see actual change right now so that they can see their kids, so that they can have a social life, so that they can have proper mental health. And I end with that y'all better be doing something right now, today, or else we will be back. I think you promise.
Madeline Heath. Madeline?
Good evening, directors. Good evening, Superintendent. Let's see. Sorry, 1 second. We students all agree that it was unfair for the board to extend the school day for and the year for several reasons. First and most obviously, students, especially graduating seniors, have been under the impression that they will leave school at a certain time for the whole year. To have that ripped away from us after a hard 2 years of a pandemic and the many issues that it caused and it was concurrent with is a slap in the face and a clear indication that the board does not care about our graduation or our summer plans, including travel, study, and most importantly, work and childcare plans. Seniors have not known normalcy in 2 or even 3 years of high school, and taking away our graduation is a final blow. The board claims to care for us, but we do not feel cared for. That's, of course, to say nothing of the extension of the school day. A lot of people have talked about that. 42 minutes may not seem like a lot to you, but for the whole year, students have built their daily schedules around the duration of the school day. Many students need to get to work, tutoring or volunteering, or internships or other obligations. Others need to pick up siblings or their children from school, childcare, or the bus. With even this 42-minute difference, students will have a harder time getting their homework done after the longer day, being more tired and having less time, and may struggle to support their families, which will lead to more stress and likely lower graduation rates for the students who are the most at risk for failing a class. I might add that this defeats the purpose of adding time to the school year. There is a possible solution that fits the legal requirement in the statute that you seem to care about so much. For instructional hours, it would still allow students to carry out their responsibilities. A solution for the summer schedule has already been suggested. There have been some awesome suggestions. The extra 42 minutes could be added, if they absolutely had to be, in the form of an advisory or study hour, which would be much easier for a student with other responsibilities to leave school without losing instructional time. This may not improve much for the teachers, granted, but it's the students that the board says it cares about, right? These drastic changes in the schedule are neither convenient nor helpful to students. They are, in fact, in many cases, destructive to mental health, families, education, and ultimately the integrity of Minneapolis Public Schools as a whole. If the change in the schedule cannot be reversed, I, and I imagine many of my peers, hope that at least a compromise or an alternate solution can be reached that reduces the harm done to students that the students that the board claims to care about so much. Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Christopher Davis.
All right, my name is CJ Davis, and I'm a student representative for Edison.
I'm Michaela Sims, and I am also from Edison. Okay. I am a student from Edison, and these are concerns that Edison students and staff have regarding the school day and the year extension. 42 minutes interferes with students having jobs that support their family and with those who need to watch siblings after school. Cutting into after-school activities makes staying less important to some. Others activities going late makes busing in North and Northeast more dangerous. 42 minutes will change some parents' work schedules. Going into the summer may cut into college programs, summer school, sports regionals, and more. Special ed students have iffy transportation, will have a hard time adjusting to schedule changes, and will struggle to make the extra time productive. During the strike, some students' pre-EBT cards were not refilled.
I'm going to speak about some testimonials that we did from some interviews of students and staff that we did in preparation for this. So, after interviewing some students from Edison, we have a student who is a junior at Edison whose parents are out of work, and they have to work 2 jobs to support not only their parents, but their younger siblings as well. So after school at 3, they have to take the city bus to pick up their younger siblings from school, take the city bus back to their house, just to take the city bus to their job and clock in. That's not healthy or sustainable. After interviewing special ed children and special ed staffs and SEAs, we have found that these special ed teachers are working so much. Not only do they work at school, one teacher that we interviewed leaves school at 3 and clocks in at their next job at 3:15. And that's because they do not get paid enough for their labor. And another concern that we had was that the board is making the situations between the north side schools and the south side schools seem the same when they are not. We are being treated the same. We're treating with equality and not equity. We're not getting what we need in the same capacity as those in South Side are. And so I have some demands as well that we came up with as an entire Edison school student body. So we need you guys to specifically address and accommodate to special ed students and their needs, because this extra 42 minutes does not help them, because at the end of the day, they're already tired. They don't have the transportation they need. They're not getting home on time already, so this isn't doing anything for them. We need direct communications between students and the board as well. We need that through some type of district-wide student council and school-wide student councils, because we just don't have those. And if we do, we don't have access to them, because I haven't heard of any. And I'm pretty sure none of my peers have heard of any as well. And we need to make sure that kids who get out later after their after-school programs have some form of safe transportation. Because now that the schools are being extended and that the after-school programs are going so long, they're getting out after dark. I know for a fact students are scared. They are afraid of the consequences that come out with taking public transportation so late at night. And that's horrible. And we really need you guys to actually listen to us. We need you to listen to the students. We need you to listen to parents. We need you to actually listen to the staff in schools. We need some actual resolutions, because we can't keep coming here about these same problems that you guys are refusing to either address, push forward, or whatever. And lastly, our last demand is that we need you guys to take away this 42-minute extensions to each day. No one's benefiting from this. Students aren't benefiting from this. It's cutting into their time that they need to financially stabilize their families, to even do the unpaid labor that they do by watching their younger siblings, by whatever household duties they need to do. And we need, and that also, and it just makes, it throws everything out of whack. It destroys parent schedules, destroys the kids' schedules, and yeah, that's what we have.
Thank you.
Taylor Butler? Taylor Butler?
Hi, my name is Taylor Butler, and I go to North High School. And some of my concerns and complaints are the mental toll that adding the extra 42 minutes and the extra time at school has on students. You guys have to take in consideration that a lot of students have a lot of battle with a lot of mental health issues, like depression, anxiety, all that other stuff. So they need that extra time in the summer to regroup themselves, get themselves together to go back to school in the fall. My next complaint is seniors and graduations. I think it's really ridiculous that seniors still have to graduate the same day that it was originally planned, but they still have to come back to school on the 24th just to get their diplomas. That's ridiculous to me. And me personally, I have a brother that's a senior, and he should not have to come back to school from graduation just to get his diploma. I feel like seniors should take that time to get ready for college and all the important stuff that they have in their lives. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. Next, you guys heard about jobs and internships, all that stuff. One thing about me, y'all not finna stop me from making money. I need my money, making money, and having the time to experiment what it's like to have a job outside of schools. Because mind you, I have financial stuff I have to take care of for myself, and I have a life outside of school. Next is, I know a bunch of students with children of their own. They should not have to take a break from their child that they had just to come back and make up the time at school just because the teachers had a strike. How is that fair to them or their children? Sports, games, and practices. Sports, with the practices for me, I run track. Practice is pushed back all the way to 6:30 now because you guys wanted to add on the extra 42 minutes, which is dangerous because it's getting warmer outside and it's going to get even more dangerous on the north side, and you guys should know that. Yes. More violence equals more students at risk. And you guys say that you guys care for the students and this is for the students. Do you guys really care for the students, or is y'all just saying that just because it sounds good? Just please, and if it is, how is that fair to the students? Because you guys just want to say words without actually fulfilling your promises. And like the other people, like the last person just said, I'm gonna need you guys to hear us, not just listen, because listening, you just listening to words. I need you guys to actually use your ears and listen. Please, I am begging you to listen, to hear us and hear the students, and for the fact that y'all are just making decisions without even having the students have the students' inputs, it's ridiculous to me. The students should and will have an input on how our school lives are affected. Thank you.
Thank you. Michaela Sims? Michaela Sims? Okay, thank you. Nari Miller?
Hi. I'm Nari Miller. I'm a senior at Edison High School. I attended Lucy Laney Elementary School. I attended Northeast Middle School. So I was raised in this district. I'm not going to talk very long because I feel like what I'm talking to y'all about, I shouldn't have to talk about. 100%, I'm here because a lot of my peers, CJ and Michaela specifically, are the people who I conducted the interviews with. They're directly affected by this. So, I haven't had a normal year of high school since I was a freshman. And everybody has said that. I'm not gonna keep on reiterating what everybody is saying, but by understanding the pandemic, I never really held it against you guys. With this 42 minutes, I'm gonna hold it against you guys because y'all have direct control over that. I'm tired of hearing you guys say, oh, we don't have control over that. You guys represent us. The board, you guys are our neighbors. You guys are supposed to represent us. I'm not even finna get into Edina. 100%, y'all look the part, but y'all not really playing the part. And I'm not happy with it at all. And so I'm really only here because, you know, I'm a senior, I'm a graduate, I'm 18, I'm voting y'all out. But 100, I'm not happy with the way that we've been treated, but I'm here so the future kids can actually get something worthwhile out of this. I did my bid. My 12-year prison sentence is almost over. I'm ready to go, like for real. I'm not finna toot my own horn, but most people know me here from sports. I won a state title for this district. Y'all are welcome. With that state title, I've now qualified for nationals, which is June 14th. Guess who's going to school instead of nationals? It's me, if y'all didn't guess yet. And yeah, I am mad about it because it's a 4-day thing and y'all are gonna withhold my diploma if I choose to go to nationals, which I worked my butt off for. Again, I wasn't really here to talk for very long. That's all I really wanted to say. Bye, Edward. I know you're leaving. But yeah, that's really it. Again, I'm Nari Miller. I'm a senior. I done put y'all district on the map. Minneapolis, y'all welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Rayshawn Wade. Rayshawn.
Sorry, I can't speak with this. So before I speak, I've noticed multiple people up here have been looking down. I don't know if you're taking notes or if you're on your phones, but they taught me in school and just like in my household that if someone is speaking, that you show them respect and you look at them while they speak. So I would really appreciate if everyone paid attention and listened to everything that I had to say. So I feel like there's a lot that really needs to be said, but my peers and just everyone here, they've already said a lot. But one thing that's really been bothering me is I noticed that we got an extra 42 minutes, but one of my teachers is a teacher at North, and he's a really like teacher. He's very popular. He's their track coach, and he just tells me how unfair it is that they already have to stay late. Plus, y'all add an extra 42 minutes, which just isn't unfair, especially after just everything that community and just everything like that we have dealt with as a state. Like they just lost someone. Someone lost a brother, a son, a nephew, a teammate, a friend, and they're already going through so much mentally, just dealing with that grief and everything. And just adding this just piles on to that mental, just all that mental, just like toughness, like that just everything that they're going through. And I just feel like that's unfair. And you guys are supposed to be for us, for Minneapolis Public Schools, but y'all's not actually doing what we want. Y'all's not actually having our best interests aligned. And I just don't like that. And then we have certain people leaving because they can't handle just like everything that's going on and just us speaking up. I guess us not being silent isn't enough for that person, so they're deciding to leave. And I just feel like Why say that you're for us when you're not actually for us? You're for yourselves. Like, why should teachers have to go on strike for 3 weeks just to ask to have better pay? They do this nonstop. Like, we give y'all 10 months out of the year. That's 10 months. We get 2 months. And you want to dip into that 2 months that we have. We already give y'all 10, and that's just not enough. You add 2 weeks of school. You add an extra 42 minutes to every school in the district, which just isn't fair. And I just feel like, with that being said, I'm very happy that you are leaving and will not be here. Just because I feel like we deserve someone that is for us and will actually hear us and listen to us and just make the things that just hear our voice. That's really all that we're asking. We just want to be heard. We have all these schools coming together, and just all these schools coming together should tell you that you're not doing your job right. All these schools that like we're neighbors, but we don't really we have what's the word? We're not that fond of them. Like, we don't like them in certain things. And we're coming together. We're putting our differences aside, the way that we feel. We're putting them together. We're putting them aside, and we're coming together to tell you that what you're doing just isn't right. You're not listening to us. And we hope that all these people, I think there was probably about 10 plus people that have spoken. I hope that you listened to every single person, and I hope that when you were looking down, that you were writing down notes and listening to everything that we said. And that's really all that I wanted to say. And I just hope that y'all listen. And I hope you, With that being said, that's really it. Hope y'all change it, because if not, we'll be back.
Thank you. Madhya Ba. Madhya Ba.
My name is Khadijah Ba.
Khadijah, I'm sorry. Thank you.
What I'm gonna say is going to upset some of you, but as people who are supposed to be in this position, who are supposed to have this job and already know what you're supposed to be doing, I really don't care. So for starters, this is to the superintendent for one. If you don't like what people are saying to you, then you need to go about a different way for what you're doing. If you don't want people to cuss at you and you don't want people to express their anger, then you need to find a better way to make people feel like they're being listened. You came to North and you said that you were gonna create a new building and you were gonna do all these new renovations in 5 years. What are you gonna do for the school now? You're not doing anything for the school now, or at least it doesn't seem like you're doing anything. You have people up here who are not paying attention to what people are saying. Don't say you want people to come here and speak and express themselves if you're not gonna actively listen to people. Listening, reading, and writing are basic skills that we learn in preschool. So why is that something that is why is it not happening? I'm sitting in the back row and I see you guys not listening, specifically Superintendent Graff and Director Arneson, or I'm sorry if I didn't say it right. Either way, that's what I'm gonna just say to y'all too. At the end of the day, you adding 42 extra minutes to people's schools, not only are you adding it to every single school, you're adding it to schools who are already going longer than they need to be going. North High and Henry, specifically the North Side schools, are already going longer than they need to be going. And then instead of providing the equity that you guys swear up and down that you guys are providing, you're not doing that. We are in school longer than we need to be in school for, and it's not actively doing anything. It's not. People are upset. People are in class longer than they have to be when we already understand the concept of what we're learning. If you have a problem with the way things are being run, then you need to change it because you're in the position to change it. We keep coming to you guys about these problems, and it's not being solved. If someone tells you something, this is what my dad always told me. If one person tells you something, they might be hating. If 2 people tell you something, you need to listen. If 3 or more people tell you something, you need to stop and look at yourself. That's what you need to do. The North Side communities, the North Side schools are constantly getting the short end of the stick. I'm representing North High School, I'm representing the people who look like me, and I'm representing the people that you guys are constantly hurting. You don't care. Because if you say you care and you talk all this stuff about how you care about the students and how you care about this whole thing, you would not have let that strike go on for three weeks. You would not have. You wouldn't. Because if you genuinely cared about the teachers and you genuinely cared about the students that you constantly say you do, you would have instantly gave them what they asked for within that week or within that day, just like St. Paul did. What's the problem? You should be ashamed of having these hardworking parents and these hardworking students have to come. Not everyone has the privilege that you had when you were growing up, and that's something that you need to understand. Not everyone has 2 parents in a household. Not everyone is able to walk to school and feel safe. Northside students are constantly walking past where their classmate was shot. The 5 bus stop, right where that D Hill stuff is at, his classmates and his people are constantly walking past that to go to school. And how do you think that is gonna affect people when they're walking past that when it's late at night? We are Black people, okay? We already have the world against us. We already have the odds against us for no reason. We didn't do anything. We didn't. So how are we supposed to get an education when it's constantly having these obstacles in the way, obstacles that you are putting in place? So if you really care and you really wanna work with these students, you need to make changes. That's what this whole thing is about. I'm so irritated and I'm so frustrated, and I'm trying to properly articulate myself because once again, you guys said that you don't want the bullhorns, you don't want the signs, and you don't want people cussing. So the way that we're talking to you is how you guys asked to be talked to. So if you want to ask to be talked like this, then you need to make change because that's what you asked for. So let's make that real clear. I want to go to college. I want to study law. I got a lot of things that I want to do. But for one thing, we all know this world runs on money. Like, we all know that the whole thing, you need to have money if you want to do certain things. It's prom coming up, it's graduation. Like they said, our last normal year of high school was our freshman year. We done had pandemics, we done had people dying, we done had so many things happen to us, things that you guys have not experienced personally. So you can't say that you know what it's like, and you can't say you know what it feels like because you don't. We are experiencing so much trauma at such a young age that we are mentally older than we are because we've had to constantly have to heal ourselves, heal our teachers, heal our principals. We cry with each other all the time, and the only time that you guys want to show up is when we are grieving. And I done said that before. I'm so fed up with this. I'm so frustrated. And at the end of the day, if you guys were in this position because we believed that you guys were going to make change, each and every one of you. Now, those of you who know that this is wrong, and those of you who know that are, trying to make change, this message isn't for you. This is for the ones who know that what they're doing is wrong and is not trying to change it. You can't tell us that you want us to be these strong individuals, you want us to be honest and just, and you want us to have such integrity when you're not doing it. Let's not act like that. Let's be honest and let's keep it 100. Let's not sit up here just because you're in a position of authority and you done gained your spot. I'm so proud of the POC that I see up there, but at the end of the day, now that you're in that position, you need to make change as well. You need to do something as well for us because we are constantly coming to you guys and we're constantly telling you that there are problems and they're not being fixed. It's not like we're complaining about like potholes or we're complaining about all these other things. We're complaining about real things that we have to go through, real problems that we constantly have to go through. Do you want to walk past where, your classmate was shot? Do you want to constantly have to see that replayed? Do you? I'm going to take that as a no since no one said yes. That's just one of the small things that we have to go through. We have to constantly walk past lockers with balloons on them. And I'm not even going to say that had anything to do with you guys because it didn't. But at the end of the day, let's not extend things longer than we have to. School, the only reason that you guys are extending and doing all of this is because of what you guys decided to do. If you would have gave these teachers what they asked for, we would not be in this situation. And it's constantly happening. It's constantly happening. I'm gonna close it out because I'm not trying to sit up here and talk too long, but at the end of the day, you guys need to make change and you need to do your job. Like, it's that simple. You were voted in there to do a job that you swore that you were gonna do. You have all these flags behind you, and you're not having no integrity towards the people at all. This whole thing seems like it was like a plan. I honestly feel like this was scripted. You guys knew that this strike was gonna go on for so long if you didn't give them what they wanted. You waited 3 weeks so you can say, you know what, since it's such a consequence, we're gonna put it at the end and we're gonna punish them. Why are you punishing us and we did nothing wrong? We did nothing to you guys. They were fighting for livable wages and they were fighting for the students. Something that you guys already have your livable wages. You guys are already making good money, so you're not worried about that. But you have to be able to see the other side of the coin. You can't sit here and just because you're comfortable and because you have everything that you need to have, you can't just sit here and think that everything is sweet, because it's not. Not everyone has those privileges. Not everyone is able to wake up in a house and be able to turn their lights on or turn their water on. People have to go to work to be able to provide for their families. And just because you didn't have to do that growing up or you don't experience that right now, doesn't mean it doesn't affect the people that you represent.
Thank you, Khadijah. Ayana Melander.
First, I would like to say thank you to the students outside, because we can hear you guys, and I'm glad you guys are here. My name is Ayana Melander, and I'm here representing North High School. The blatant disregard to better differentiate. It makes me wonder what our district's true colors are when I see that 2 Southside middle schools get to extend their passing times and get a crew period. It makes me sick thinking about how North and Henry students have to, quote unquote, make up the time that they have already fulfilled. We both had 7-hour school days. However, South, Southwest, and Washburn only had to go 6 hours and 30 minutes. This is an opportunity to even us out. If you give a 6.5-hour school day 42 minutes, you should give a 7-hour school day 12. You are not, sorry guys. You know when your parents say, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed? Well, I'm disappointed in the fact that we have to be here, stand up here and yell for help to the very own people who are supposed to be here helping us. Your job is to make our schools a safe and happy environment, right? Well, what you've made are exhausted and depressed students, stressed and worn out teachers, and torn up and frustrated administration. I don't think you guys wake up and have ill and racist intentions, but it sure does seem like it. Letting Southside schools get these privileges. In the beginning, this was about our teachers and ESPs getting the pay that they deserve, and now it feels like you're punishing us for something that you guys and your leaders have done wrong in the first place. I shouldn't be here right now. Don't you see us? Didn't you see them? They're here. They're like, there's no reason for us to be here. I should have been at track practice, but I'm here. Like, I'm sitting here. I'm standing here. It should have never came to this point. If you're so invested in your Northside schools and your Northside students, as you say you are, you will hear my voice, you will hear our voices, and act on this blatant disregard to better differentiate. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone who took the time to come share their ideas and perspective with us. We will now take a 15-minute recess. Directors, we will reconvene at 7:45. I'm going to reconvene this meeting, and given the time, I'm going to skip to action items by the board. So first, we're going to vote on a couple of items next. First is approval of the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes routine items that do not involve major policy, budget, or taxing decisions, bond awards, or items related to the superintendent's contract or evaluation. Director Caprini, will you please move approval of this item? So moved. May I have a second? Second. Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Director Elamine?
Chair Ellison, I did just want to bring it to the attention that I am going to abstain from voting on this tonight. I do have a religious organization that I am aware of, and so I just want to abstain from voting on anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. That motion carries and the consent agenda is approved. Our next two items are approval of new school names as recommended by the school communities and forwarded here to the board by the superintendent. As we heard earlier, in each of these cases, students, staff, and families recognize the need for a new namesake and have engaged in their respective processes in accordance with our policies and regulations to come up with a new name that better aligns their values, both their school community and of the district. Today, it's our privilege to recognize each school community's work and vote on their new names, which would be effective starting July 1st, 2022. We will begin with the resolution to rename Jefferson as Ella Baker, which is labeled as 2022-23. Director Cirillo, would you please move approval of this resolution?
Second.
Thank you. Approval of the resolution renaming Jefferson as Ella Baker has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries and the resolution is approved. Congratulations to the soon-to-be-called Ella Baker Global Studies and Humanities School. We will move to the resolution to rename Sheridan as Las Estrellas, which is labeled as 2022-24. Director Arneson, would you please move approval of this resolution?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Approval of the resolution renaming Sheridan as Las Estrellas has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. That motion carries and the resolution is approved. Congratulations to the soon-to-be-called Las Estrellas Dual Language Elementary School. The next two items have to do with our elections. One to approve the new boundaries for the 6 districted seats on the board, and the other to designate precincts and polling places. First is approval of the redrawn Board of Education election districts, which is a process required after each federal census to ensure equal representation. As directors will recall, it is our policy to use the same boundaries as the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, which have the same legal requirements as school board districts. Can I please get a motion to approve the resolution establishing the school board election districts as redistricted, which is labeled as 2022-21?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Approval of resolution 2022-21 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. That motion carries and the resolution is approved. Next is another election-related item which designates precinct boundaries and polling place locations and is labeled as Resolution 2022-22. Precincts and polling places are set by the City of Minneapolis, with whom we contract to run school board elections and referendum ballot measures. Can I please get a motion to approve the resolution designating precinct boundaries and polling place locations?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Approval of the resolution 2022-22 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. That motion carries and the resolution is approved. Next, I'd like to share a timeline and process to fill the vacant at-large school board seat caused by a recent resignation. In accordance with our policy on board vacancies, an application will open this Thursday, April 14th, and will run through next Thursday, 2 weeks, Thursday, April 28th. All completed applications that meet the minimum requirements will be posted along with our May regular business meeting materials on May 6th. Then, during the May 10th meeting, directors will have the opportunity to nominate someone from among the applicants. From those nominated, the board will vote to appoint the person who will serve the remainder of the vacant term, which runs until Monday, January 2nd, 2023. Additional information and a link to the application will be available on our website tomorrow, and our website can be found at board, board.mpls.k12.mn.us. I'd like to thank in advance all those who are considering an application to serve our community in this important way. For our next item, I'd like to provide information about the timeline and process to inform the appointment of an interim superintendent. Because we are in agreement that we want to develop a robust and comprehensive search process for our next permanent superintendent that will take some time, we need to arrange for an interim appointment to be in place at the conclusion of Superintendent Graff's contract on June 30th. I want to propose that each of us, as board members, engage in outreach over the next few weeks to understand the key characteristics desired in our interim superintendent. Talk to your communities that we all serve to see what they would like to see. Informed by those inputs, I will take the responsibility to bring forward a recommendation for an interim superintendent contract to be voted on at our next regularly scheduled meeting on May 10th. At this time, I plan to share the recommendation with the community sometime the week prior. Again, to be clear, this timeline is specifically and exclusively about the interim superintendent position. Even as we proceed on this interim superintendent appointment, we will also be constructing a process for selection of our next permanent superintendent, including public input, staff input, and priorities defined by this board. And I look forward to working with all of you and with our communities on this very important process moving forward. Next on our agenda is our final item, and it's time for directors to give a brief update on the committees that they serve or on any other board-related activities. Directors, if you have any comments, please press the request to speak button, and I will run through the list. Do you want to speak? Student Representative Rance.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Rance. I attend Henry High School, and I live in North Minneapolis. On March 29th, the Board of Education held a special business meeting to discuss the vote on the newly modified 2022 calendar and school year. On this date, MPS students gathered in this very boardroom to be acknowledged. These MPS students collectively voiced their opinions and concerns directly to the board because they are passionate about their education and serve as leaders within their own communities. I've spoken with students from Henry High School and neighboring MPS schools. The students have agreed that the board isn't accessible to them when communicating their thoughts and concerns with their very own education. Many students thought that the meeting on March 29th was disheartening because they felt that the interruption was the only way that to get the board's attention and listen to them. MPS students, particularly MPS high school students, are irritated, concerned, overwhelmed, and disappointed with how the MPS district communicated with students and families during the 3-week period, communicated the extended 42-minute school days, and the extension of the last day of school to June 24th. They have left me with 2 questions, and I will read them now. 3 questions. Students want to know, with the 42 minutes added, how flexible is this schedule to students with conflicting schedules? Is this something that can be improved upon? Is this final? The language is not very clear, and the students would like to know. The second question is, can you please explain why North Side students, including Henry High School and North High, to be clear, you have added 42 additional minutes, and Henry High School already has 35 additional minutes, and North High has 30. 35 for Henry and 30 minutes for North. Why is it that North Side schools now have an additional 42 minutes when they're already meeting their quota? And our last question is, what can students expect from the school board to do to address the lack of communication between MPS students, MPS families, and MPS staff? Thank you.
Thank you. I've written the questions down, and I don't have the answers right now, but we can work on that. I've written the questions down, and we can talk about it. I don't have the answers right now for you, if that's okay. All right? Anybody else? We're going to be finished in a minute, so thank you. Thank you. That concludes our agenda tonight, unless anybody else wants to speak. Without objection, I will now